What's up guys, and welcome back to Lifebuildz. In today's video, I got a brand new SUV that we're gonna hopefully fix up, flip, and make some quick money on it. Let's dive right on in. So what you're looking at here is a 2011 Nissan Rogue that I was able to pick up for only $1,400. Now, a few cool things about this car. Less than 20,000 miles ago, I have paperwork for a $5,000 brand new transmission from the Nissan dealership. I also have some brand new tires, less than 3 months old. And you might be wondering, how would you get a car like this for only 1,400 bucks? Well, sadly, I believe they toasted the motor. So let's dive into the interior. Let me show you around the car, and then I'll dive into the motor. As we look into the interior, a few things to note. You got a few stains on the passenger and driver's seat. You got a nice cool touchscreen radio here with a backup camera. We're looking at about 150,000 miles on the dash, which is pretty good for this car. Like I said, a brand new transmission in it. Moving to the back seat. Again, just a few miscellaneous stains. We do have all-weather mats for all of the carpets, and overall, it's in pretty decent shape for being about 10 years old. We also have some nice Yakima racks, a few other miscellaneous things on this car. Overall, should be a pretty clean car and quite reliable for somebody once we've completed all of the work that we need to do to it. This is where we're running into our biggest issue. As you can tell, there's some signs of blown coolant all over this motor. This is after me pressure washing it. And when you start it up, it takes quite a bit of time to start up, symbol of low compression, as well as it blows coolant out of here, which means we are likely dealing with a blown head gasket. Now, talking with the prior owner, I was able to ask them, what happened. And basically, from what I can gather, I think the radiator blew on the car while they were driving, and they had that idea, I'm gonna try to make it home, which is the worst thing you can do if your car's overheating. And subsequently, they ended up way overheating the motor. Plans with this car, we're gonna likely end up replacing the motor, and then we're gonna end up cleaning it up, detailing the interior on it, and then hopefully being able to turn around and sell someone a nice car for winter and maybe make a little bit of money for our time in the process. The first thing I want to do as we dive into diagnosing whether or not we actually need to replace the motor is I want to crank it over and show you guys how it sounds when you initially start it up. So I do know this car starts. I was able to drive it onto the trailer and I drove it into my garage. However, it takes typically around 30 seconds of cranking, sometimes more, sometimes less. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna fire her up. Oh, that one actually started up pretty quickly. It's been sitting for about a week. What's so surprising to me is that the motor sounds so incredibly healthy. Let me show you. As we're listening, I don't hear any ticking, knocking, anything you would hope to hear with a typical blown motor. However, that's not always the case with a head gasket, and I totally understand that. Let me open the engine bay and show you a few things that I've seen. So now that the hood is open, you can hear that the motor sounds relatively healthy. No weird ticks or knocks. But you see how it's blowing coolant out of here? It's currently out of coolant, which means I'm not gonna be running for it very long. But what we need to do is we need to replace the radiator, which I just purchased a brand new radiator for it. Put that in, refill the coolant system, and then we need to check compression on all the cylinders. That will tell us the ultimate truth of this motor. Okay, so I have finished installing the brand new radiator and filled the system with coolant. Well, mostly water because I'm pretty sure we're still gonna have to drain everything and replace the motor. But now we will fire up the car and see if it's bubbling, see what's going on. Maybe take it for a short test drive, and then we'll start into compression testing the motor.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Yes, this is what the car usually does. That is what the car usually does, which is why I'm pretty positive it needs a new motor. But let's see if we can get it fired up and then just kind of confirm a few theories. After about 30 minutes of trying to start this car, I could not get it to start. So I did something that is really, really bad for the car. I drained all the coolant out of it and it fired right up, which means that we are pretty much dealing with a head gasket, because that means it was putting too much coolant straight into the system. And to prove that theory, look at this. Look at how many bubbles are coming out of this coolant tank immediately. And it's trying to shut off now. So, oh, look at that. And now it's dumping coolant out. I'm going to be ordering a new motor tonight. We'll have it shipped over here, or we'll go pick it up, not sure. Probably going to go with a wrecking yard motor just because you can get them, 6-month, 9-month warranty on them, and they're compression tested, they're perfect, and they're significantly cheaper. So I'm going to be showing you the process of pulling the motor on this car, getting it all fixed up, and then hopefully we can flip it and make some quick money on this car. Quick update on the Nissan Rogue motor. Purchased it, but did not fit in the X5, so we are currently driving very slowly home with it on the tailgate of the X5. An adventure with Lifebuildz. Just like that, we have gotten the motor for the Nissan all the way home. Check this out. The looks I was getting on the highway, truly incredible, but we got the motor in, got it home. Most importantly, it did not blow out the rear window. See, glass is all intact, we're good. And we're gonna get started on swapping this motor here in the next few days. Let's get to it. Let's dive into swapping this motor on this 2011 Nissan Rogue S. We have the replacement motor all pulled out of the X5 right over there. I got my good friend Colby here. He knows quite a bit about cars. And we're gonna be swapping this motor, hopefully over in the next few days. Let's see if we can get this car running smoothly again. Okay, so just like that, 5 or 6 hours later, we are all prepped. We believe we've gotten every sensor. There's always that one that tests the strength of the jack, but we basically have the motor out. Everything's disconnected. Now it's time to actually pull it out and then swap this new one in. Here we are with the motor, 6 feet in the air. Mental health, 50%, but the motor, 100% out, and that's what matters. Lower her down, bud. Damn. Nice. Perfect. And that is an engine hole. Let's go get some pizza.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, check this out. We have the junkyard motor completely prepped. We stripped down the other motor. The transmission is now mated to the engine. And we are ready to begin the process of reinstalling the new motor. Let's see how this goes. Pretty proud of myself for that one. My buddy Colby was unable to help me tonight because he has work, but I just got this motor in all by myself. And it is resting. I mean, it's still being held up by the jack, but that is the hardest part. Just have to hook up the mounts, which is super dope. So wasn't too hard, about an hour maybe or less. And now comes the process of hooking up every single sensor, making sure to forget at least 2 so the car won't start, and then going back and fixing that. And hopefully the car runs soon. Alrighty guys, check this out. Been a few hours and I have the motor swap completely finished. I chose to not film it because it's the exact same process in reverse of what you just watched. It's a little bit more painful. You got to drop a few more things on your hands and whatever. I have finished filling it with coolant. I have finished refilling the transmission. There's nothing left to do besides fire up this car. So I'm going to prime the system a few times and then we'll see if it cranks. Alrighty, here we go. Got a little bit of smoke and dust burning off, nothing crazy. Let's see if there are any leaks. No leaks. So I turned off the Nissan because it was running a little rough, and I was checking the plugs, and I noticed, see how this gap's good? This one's not. I believe, so we can push that in. Yep. That coil pack was not plugged in all the way, so that was likely causing the rough idle. Something else to note. Check out how much water came out of this exhaust because the head gasket was so bad before we finished it. So I'm expecting quite a bit to blow out residual. Does sound like it's running better now. Oh, that's running much better now. Just a little coil pack. Let's back it out of the garage and make sure everything else works. Okay, so I have backed the car out and I'm holding steady RPMs and trying to burn off all the coolant that's stuck in the exhaust. Let's see if it's, yeah, you can see all that coolant from in there. I mean, we know how bad the head gasket was. I had to drain the radiator to get the car to start. So I'm assuming there's quite a bit of fluid inside the exhaust. I mean, you can see the line as I back out, that's all from the exhaust pipe. But hoping to heat it up, burn it off, and then we're gonna recheck all the fluids, take it for a test drive. Also, I have a flashing check engine light, so let's go check that real quick. Okay, I just finished scanning the car, and let's find out together what is going on. So, engine, okay, cylinder 3 misfire. We'll go check spark plug and coil pack, maybe just swap it with the old motor. BCM, body control module, no data. That's a past one. And let's check, okay, engine speed for transmission, that is also a past one. So the only current one is a cylinder 3 misfire. So let's go ahead and clear the codes, wipe everything out of the system, and then I'm gonna go check cylinder 3, and I'll probably just pull a spark plug and coil pack from the other motor, swap it over, and then see if she runs better. So I just pulled the old coil pack right there. I have a new one from the other motor, and I just went to break it loose and it was already very loose. So we're gonna pull it out, make sure, you know, the threads aren't stripped and whatever. Check the spark plug, tighten it back down, and then it should run better. So we've been going back and forth for this one. I swapped both coil packs, I swapped both spark plugs, I put a different spark plug from a different motor, changed all the coil packs. We still have a consistent cylinder 3 misfire. So I'm digging through here and I look back here for the injector, and if you look right here, it's wiggling. So there you go, see that? It wasn't connected. Now if I go over here, I can't lift that one or any of the other ones. So I believe we just had an injector disconnected. Now I gotta get in there, reconnect that, and hopefully we can get this thing to run better. Just like that, we found the faulty injector, and listen to this idle, this rev. Nice and smooth, no hesitation, falls quickly, very fast revving. This is good. Let's go for a test drive. Okay, short test drive is going well. The car is not overheating. It's accelerating smoothly, and my good friend Colby, you guys saw him earlier in the video, he showed up. He almost, you could say he got off work early, still in his scrubs, just to check out the car. Is that true?
I can neither deny nor confirm your suspicions.
I have to say, guys, I am super proud of this car. We just did about a 10-mile test ride. It is flawless, no issues. It needs some tire pressure, nothing wrong with that. It's not leaking anything. It's running very smoothly, and once we fix that injector that was unplugged, it's not misfiring, very smooth everything. So, super proud of that car. But I am gonna clean this car, make it all nice, drive it for a few hundred miles, and then sell it. Let's put somebody on the road in a nice car, make a little bit of money in the process. Just like that, it's about 6 weeks later. I've put 1,500 miles on this Nissan behind me, and I can say it's been perfect. Drove it through ice, snow, rain, everything has worked awesome. I haven't had a check engine light. This car is perfect. So let's go inside the interior and let me show you how I cleaned it up and how nice this thing is looking now. So looking in the interior, as you can tell, it's a lot cleaner than it was in the previous clips. Back seat is also cleaned up quite a bit. So let's talk about the money side of this car flip. About a week ago, I had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, I'm looking for a reliable winter SUV that gets great gas mileage. This thing gets 28 miles per gallon. It's all-wheel drive. I was like, hey, I got the perfect car for you. So I ended up selling it to her for just about $6,000. I'm $3,200 into this car, which means I made a profit of $2,800, and I gave a friend a super reliable car. So I'm super excited with how this journey ended. She's gonna be picking the car up in about a week. So that's gonna be the end of this series. But if you enjoyed this, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, comment down below what your favorite part of this video was. If you want to see different kinds of videos, different builds, whatever, let me know. Also, I started a Facebook and an Instagram page, Lifebuildz, with a Z at the end. Follow me there for new tips, new builds, you'll see it there first. I'll see you guys next week.